We've already crowned one champion tonight as Stonewall Jackson beat West Springfield to take the 6A North girls basketball title. Now it's time for the boys matchup as Patriot District rivals Lake Braddock and WT Woodson face off for the fourth time this season. I'm Jeremy Huber, joined by former UVA and NBAer Junior Burrow. Junior, I know from your experience with UVA, you had plenty of times you played a team 3 times in a season. 4 seems like an awful lot. These teams definitely going to know each other. We'll see exactly how things pan out. So familiar with each other in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're Woodson, you've lost to this team 3 times. Lake Braddock has done just enough to win those games. But if you're Woodson, you're trying to win today. It's a championship game. You're just going to have to figure it all out. I mean, it's probably came down to a hustle play, a referee call here, a turnover, a missed free throw. You can always look back at the coaching staff and just try to say, well, they went on a run here, they did this. So here is a chance in the 4th game of the season to come back out and get a victory. It's a perfect opportunity because it makes all those other losses worth it if you can win a championship today.
Yeah, if Woodson can go ahead and get that win tonight, they'll forget all about those 3 losses they had earlier on in the season. Of course, lots of things coming here in this game. Again, we're looking at some real big-time guys out here in the matchup. Here at Robinson, the venue really looking packed at this point. Should be a huge night for basketball.
Well, these guys are close. I mean, their teams are about 4 or 5 miles apart. They're rivals. Like I said, they've already played 3 times already this year. It's been a fantastic rivalry. Everybody knows each other. You have a couple of Division I players on both either teams. I mean, that's exactly what you want in a game like this. You want the game to be competitive. You want everybody to have their juices flowing. It's a great rivalry.
Let's go ahead and take a look at our players to watch tonight. Junior, we'll start things off with WT Woodson and their standout guard, Eric Bowles.
I mean, first of all, he's the player of the year again this year. Eric Bowles is not only the stirring of the Kool-Aid, he is the Kool-Aid for this team. When he does what he does out there on the floor, which means he distributes, he scores, it gives this Woodson team a chance to win the basketball game.
Of course, on the other side of things, for Lake Braddock, they have their own standout player. That's the forward, Will Gregoritz.
Listen, he's an inside-outside threat. He does a little bit of everything for him. He's more of a menu guy, as according to how he's been played defensively. He can shoot the jump shot. He can rebound the basketball. He can also play inside. Those are the kind of guys that will make you more dangerous because it's hard to tell in the 4th time you're playing him what's going to be more effective for him on the defensive side. As a coach, it's really hard when you have a guy like this opposing you because you don't know what's really going for him. And I look forward to him probably starting off inside tonight.
Should see exactly what those 2 guys can do. They should be keys. There'll be plenty of other players to watch as we go through the night with some other players doing some things and having to go ahead and really add to what their stars do on the court. Let's go ahead, and we talked to both coaches before the contest. We ended up talking up with Woodson head coach Doug Craig. We heard from him earlier today.
Well, Coach, how do you and your boys feel going into tonight's game?
You know, obviously very excited. Anytime you get a chance to play for a championship, you know, you want to seize the moment, play hard, and play together as a group, do what you got to do that got you here. I don't see our kids doing anything different.
How does Woodson get a win tonight?
I think the key thing for us is to match their physicality on the backboards, rebound the ball, play solid defense, share the ball in offense.
Coach, thanks a lot. Have fun out there.
Thank you very much.
Back to you guys.
Of course, Brian Gardner catching up with head coach Doug Gregg. On the other side of things for Lake Braddock, their head coach Brian Mitras, he's able to catch up, or he caught up with our Monica Moore.
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm standing here with Brian Mitras, head coach for Lake Braddock. And Coach, Woodson is a familiar opponent to you guys. You've already seen them 3 times this year. You've had wins against them, but what do you think the keys are going to be tonight?
Oh, there really aren't any keys because we always play them very, very close. The first 3 times we played them, I think the combined difference has been about 8 points. And in the last 2 games, we've taken a shot to win when we've been behind. So if we don't make those shots, we would have lost anyway. So we understand we've been lucky right so far. We just got to be lucky one more time.
And of course, you guys are on a 13-game winning streak. You're really coming into this strong. Why do you think your team has been able to put together that run and really they're playing well at the right time?
Well, I think at this point in time, anybody that's playing well. I mean, we played South Lakes last night. They had won 13 of 14. So I think that, you know, at this time of the year, you win district championships, you play for regional championships, you get on a run. I just think that we have a team of guys that are pretty humble guys. They like it. They enjoy each other. There's not a me guy out there. And if you'd have told me we won 13 or 14 in a row, I wouldn't even have known it by the way they act. You know, so they're a pretty level-headed bunch.
And what were you most pleased with about the win against South Lakes?
Just the fact that, Lake Braddock has never been to the regional championship game or to the state tournament in its history. And I said, so the fact that they've been able to give the student body at Lake Braddock the experience of like that big-time basketball atmosphere that some schools have, I think is just a lot of fun. South Lakes is a historically great program, and so is Woodson. To come in and for Lake Braddock to just be right there and be part of the equation, I think it's good for our basketball team, our school, our community, everything.
Well, best of luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
Head coach Brian Mitras of Lake Braddock catching up with our Monica Moore. Now time to take a look at a couple game notes in this one. Junior, start things off with Woodson. What do they have to do to get the win?
Well, like I said earlier, he's the best player on the floor. It's Eric Bowles. What is he willing to do today? How does he want to play the game? He's the guy. If Woodson wants to win tonight, they're going to need him to do a little bit of everything. And he's been doing that for them all year. That's why we're talking about the player of the year in the conference. He's the guy. What is he willing to do tonight? That's first. And the hustle plays the coach talked about earlier, just making sure they get everything and all the little 50-50 balls. They think that's what lost them the games the last couple of times. And if they can get those two things to work for them tonight, boom, they should win the game.
Quick look over at Lake Braddock, their keys to a win.
Well, you're talking about tempo. They want to press. They want to get up and down the floor. They want to do a couple of things to kind of turn these guys over. And the only way you can do that is to get the ball out of Bowles' hands. That's one thing. Plus, if they can rebound the basketball and get into their transition game, they'll have an opportunity to win. Talking to their coaching staff, it's the most important thing is to rebound it, get it in transition, and to finish those layups they've been missing these last couple of meetings.
Take a look at your starting lineups in this contest. Start off with the lower-seeded Woodson Cavaliers in this contest. They'll start off in the backcourt. Number 14, Matt Ayub, also the star of this one, Eric Bowles. Number 20, number 22, Jimmy McLaughlin. Also at a guard spot, number 40, Tyler Wilson forward. Number 42, Andy Cinchula. On the other side for Lake Braddock, they'll go ahead with number 5, John Nice, a 6'2 senior forward. Also joined by number 10, Vince Sika. Number 24, A.J. Alexander. Number 32, Reagan Jones. And number 33, Will Gregoritz. Of course, Gregoritz part of the all-region team along with Alexander. Just earlier in the game, before the game, Eric Bowles named the Player of the Year, repeating for the Northern Region / 6A North. Lake Braddock in white today with the purple and gold trim, looking like the Los Angeles Lakers Sunday uniforms, while Woodson goes with the navy blue with the white and the red trim. We're almost ready for basketball here at Robinson, and we are underway in the 6A North Finals.
The guy has the basketball in his hands. They're going to play a 2-3 zone versus him. They try not to guard him, to make him become a scorer. They believe, Lake Braddock believes if he scores the basketball from that top and they make him shoot the basketball, that's not something he's comfortable doing, and that's going to give him an opportunity to win the game.
Braddock pushes it, Nice will kick it back, and a steal there. And now Bowles will push the tempo, doesn't have numbers, doesn't care, puts it up. No good. Rebound, McLaughlin kicks back out front. Ayub looking for 3, hits! Ayub for 3, early lead for Woodson, a miss, and now quickly Bowles will push the tempo. Ayub again for 3. That one off the iron, no good. Alexander rebounds, gets it off to Gregoritz. He'll lead the break. Out of bounds, will stay with the Bruins.
Now, even though Woodson is pushing the tempo like this kind of plays into Lake Braddock's hand. This is exactly what they want to do. They want to get the ball up and down the floor. They don't believe that Woodson has enough athletes to stay with them. So it's right up their alley to get this ball moving up and down the floor.
Alexander scores it. And they'll have a chance to tie things up. Foul going to go.
That's where their advantage is inside. It's going to be inside. They're taller, they're more athletic up under the basket, and they finish better. So that's where their advantage is, and hopefully that's where they'll win up doing it tonight.
Shot missed and banged around. Alexander McLaughlin, picked up that foul. Cavaliers breaking that pressure. Cinchula, foul line jumper knocked away. Ayub going to take another shot at 3. That one back iron, no good. Fight around for the ball. Woodson brings it down. They talked about it earlier. They had to win the hustle plays they're doing early, Junior.
See, that's exactly how you win these kind of games. You know, it's early. It's a lot of energy. It's a championship game, but you're doing everything early to stay in the game, and that's what you want to be able to do. But I'm telling you, when you start doing this half-court stuff, you take a guard like Bowles right out of the basketball game because everything is he has to overthink it. He's not just pushing the ball. He's not just in transition, and that gives him like paralysis through analysis. You know, that's what you have to do to him. You have to give him an opportunity to think first before he makes a play because if he's just making plays, he's going to put you in a situation where you're going to draw a lot of fouls.
Speaking of fouls, that's going to go on Tyler Wilson, his first, team second. And that's going to go ahead and send Gregoritz to the line, looking to give Bruins the lead.
This is the script. I mean, Lake Braddock wants to go inside. They believe like they have a major advantage inside the lane. If they can just not turn the ball over and execute what they want to do, they believe they can win the game just playing inside.
Of course, they've won all three matchups between they and WT Woodson this year, but all of them have been close. A total of 8 points between all those wins for Lake Braddock.
Now, the good thing about Lake Braddock and their coaching staff is that they have several different presses they like to do. They do a bunch of man-to-man stuff. They do some zoning stuff on the presses, and those are the kind of things that put a guy like Eric Bowles in a situation where he doesn't know what's coming, so he has to slow down and think about it. If you can do that to him all night and he doesn't figure it out, it's going to be really hard for Woodson to win.
Wolf slowing the tempo down. He'll set up some offense for WT Woodson. What a crowd here. Both student sections out in full force for both teams at the cavernous Robinson Secondary School gym. Biggest there is. Ayub thought three. He'll give it back out top to Bowles. Now three from McLaughlin. That one's good.
3 points, Jimmy McLaughlin.
Other way, Alexander up and under, score it. A.J. Alexander, 4 points, and draws Lake Braddock even with WT Woodson.
Notice how Lake Braddock gets the ball out of the net in transition as quickly as possible, and they're trying to finish.
Shot up, block's going to be called. That'll be on Reagan Jones, and that will send Tyler Wilson to the line, looking to give WT Woodson the lead back.
And I'll tell you another thing, Jay, that we haven't talked about earlier is that how are these referees going to call this basketball game? I don't like to get on them as much as we have before, but if these refs are going to call this game tight, and it's going to all be about what's important as far as loose balls and letting them play physical, that's right up the alley of Lake Braddock, because they believe they have more talent per person on their team. And if you're going to be able to beat them up and play as physical as possible and play dirty in the trenches as opposed to just playing a finesse game and letting Eric Bowles run up and down the floor and do what he does, they believe that's where the advantage is. So you have to look close. Right now, it's Lake Braddock has been to the free throw line a little bit more than Woodson. So it looks like it's going right up the script. They want to get inside. They want to be more physical. They want to intimidate and try to make sure that Woodson feels it inside every time they catch the ball.
A few substitutions in. E.J. Johnson in for Lake Braddock. Also into the game, Sam Fedoric. Woodson adding a couple guys in as well, including that mix, Michael Zabo. Steal by Bowles. Bring it back to the top. And again, good ball movement by Woodson. Chula turnaround in the lane, and a tender touch gets it over the rim.
Now, the one thing about Bowles that I've noticed, not just this year, but even last year, he's a very on-time passing point guard, meaning he's getting the ball into the right person's hands where they can shoot it, where they can catch it, and that is something not learned, but it's a gift, and it is very hard to miss that. As a scorer myself who thinks of somebody who likes to score the basketball, you want the ball in that shot pocket, and he finds a way to get it there every time.
Nice, drives it, puts it up. That one will not drop after he hit the three. Looking for scores on 2 straight possessions. Net still stuck up there. Did not stop play. Bowles into the lane. Offensive foul on Bowles, and he can't believe it as Reagan Jones able to draw the contact.
That's my first time really seeing an offensive foul taken by an arm. But like I said before, the referees are going to make those kind of calls. But luckily, listen, he's going to be aggressive. If you watch the way he got to the basket, he went around 3 people. If he's going to do that all night, he's going to be trouble.
Want to get it over to our Monica Moore. She has a sideline report.
Thanks, guys. Right now, the Lake Braddock coaching staff is preaching defense to their team. They want to see hands in the faces of every Woodson player that's shooting. They want their team to move their feet and really be aggressive because they understand that this Woodson team can be very deadly. They are very happy with the play of A.J. Alexander, though. You saw he just got a brief rest, but they told him as he came to the bench just to let him know when he was ready because he'd be right back in, and you see him coming right back into the game.
Thank you, Monica. Of course, Alexander, a little offensive goaltending junior.
Well, I mean, like I said, just being aggressive. you don't want to let a team like Woodson just guard you any kind of way. You want to make sure they have to guard the whole floor, and that's what they have to do right now.
Down low, Johnson puts that one up, misses everything, and to go out of bounds off of Lake Braddock stays with the Cavaliers.
Just being aggressive. I mean, if you're going to be Lake Braddock and you're going to play like this, they have multiple guys that can dribble the ball up and down the floor, and this is how you get your transition game where you.
Hello, and thank you for viewing this portion of our recent broadcast. This concludes the free viewing experience for this broadcast. If you're interested in viewing the remainder of this broadcast, you can simply click the Add to Cart button below this video where it says Download a Copy. You can also purchase a DVD of this broadcast, which will be viewable on computers and televisions. DMVstream.com is an independently funded project, meaning that your purchases and pledge of support go a long way in helping us to continue to broadcast live sporting events in the DMV. Thanks for stopping by and for your continued support.